and then iAngel has 1k, 1k. I'd actually rather be like 1.5k, 1.5k as port rather than no coin, 3k food, because at least I can make a decent army composition.
Yeah, not to mention goons are exactly even in their costs, and goons are very important for basically any time you're using ports.
Oh yeah.
Except maybe Germany, I want to say. I don't tend to use a whole lot of goons when I'm fighting Germany.
In Germany, musket skirm with artillery is a better composition.
I mean, that's what I tend to go for, so glad to hear that I'm doing things right. I'm definitely better with ports than I am with Brits, I'll say that.
Brits is a difficult
I understand
civ.
Brits, but I don't understand how I personally can use them.
Brits is difficult though. There's a whole lot of things to worry about. You have such a diverse army that you can't just box them in and say this is the best style for them. It's not like Port where they don't really have a strong cav unit for melee, so their Huss really isn't that useful. That means that range compositions become much better because their artillery is so strong. Brit have good artillery, great ranged units in longbows and goons. They have excellent melee units with Huss. Muskets are durable. Grens are versatile ways to deal with odd situations when you need siege or just something to tank range damage. There's just so many ways that you can play Brit.
Yeah, Kerk and, say, Alan have two of the most different ways of playing Brits, but they're also two of the best Brits players that have ever come around, so...
Between me and Kerk, we have a bit of difference in our style. He tends to prefer a lot more muskets, I tend to prefer a lot more cav, but that difference doesn't really... Our overall idea of Brits is very similar with differences in how we implement the idea. I guess would be the best way to describe
look at the mirror. Look at how close it is.
Yeah, we're like 6 points apart, and neither of us have dropped below 1900 this entire time. And this is just because we're both very good at macroing Brits. If you've been watching this area down here, where you'll see units training, I have had cows and sheep training constantly throughout the entire game. Because if you don't do that, you throw away your advantage as Brit. You are an economic civ. You have the advantage of being able to get ahead with every batch of cows and sheep. Because of that, you want to constantly capitalize on every single batch.
And of course, if you can keep getting food, you can keep using Hussar and not losing economy.
Exactly.
Hussar, you've got to remember, are very expensive. Another reason they're not really very viable for ports. But, you know, when used correctly, they can do so much damage.
Exactly. And in this situation, I should probably stop using Hussars because it's kind of condensing onto the flank now where we're fighting. And he's doing a fairly good job with muskets and goons of defending the Huss, so I'm not doing as much damage as I would like. In this case, it'd be much better to just make calves and start pressuring him with calves. I mean, I'm still getting his artillery with the Huss, but it's not nearly as cost effective at this point.
Yeah. Another reason to keep using artillery all the time, it's so cost effective.
Oh,
Hussar
yeah.
are 20 each. 2 Hussar cost as much as a calf. I mean, not in villager seconds, of course, but like, the cost of calves is so much cheaper than spamming 5 Hussar.
And the other thing is, if you get good at Calv Micro, they're reusable. Huss is basically a one-time option. It goes up, it kills it, it's almost guaranteed to die, unless the player is just really bad.
And forgets that they have any other units or something like that.
Right. But in that case, Huss is a one-time option. It should be like an emergency thing, where you make it and you use it to try and kill 1 unit, or 2 units, or a couple of units, and you expect them to die. Whereas Calves, if I'm good at my micro, and I keep saving Calves between rounds, even if it's I get 6 Calves, he has 6 Calves, and I win it with 1 Calv remaining, and I keep doing that, I get 1 Calv out of every exchange that I can use again, and keep firing.
And remember, even if that calf only gets off 1 shot, it only takes two shots to kill almost any artillery piece. I mean, this
Right.
changes, of course, with port HP, but
And actually, before the artillery HP is out, you can kill organ guns in one hit with calves. A lot of
Which is
people
just
don't know
hilarious.
that. And it's actually sad because I see people taking like 2 shots with calves to kill a single organ. And it's like, they don't have HP out yet, just shoot it with 1. And then you can make 4 calves do the work of 8.
of course, it's very nice when you've got siege elephants, which don't have terribly high attack, anyways.
Yeah, siege
Anything that
elephants are
requires
gay.
less hits is good. Of course, there are no siege elephants here because none of these guys are cool enough to play India.
Hey, screw you, I played India for quite a while, and I was actually pretty good with them.
Yeah, I know.
That's kind of the difference between me and Kerk, though. He was amazing with British. He knew them inside and out. I played a lot of different civs, and I knew all of them to varying degrees quite well. The ones that I really loved were India, Sioux, British, to some extent Ottomans, although Ottomans are kind of a joke.
Every time you did win with Ottomans, you would always rage pretty hard.
It's because it's very frustrating. It's like you can't even do anything against certain styles. You fight against Skirm Goon with Ottoman, you are straight fucked. There's nothing you can do. It's just not possible to win that because your units can't. If I go Abyss Huss versus Skirm Goon, obviously I'm dead. If I go Abyss Cav Archer, I'm still dead. If I go anything, I'm dead. That's the frustration of playing autos. Like, you might be able to beat someone who doesn't know how to abuse their disadvantages, but if you fight someone who can, you really just lose outright. Here I should definitely be pulling back these longbow.
And just destroying him without giving him any chance, and then you fought someone else's Germany and were like, I can't win versus Germany, this is ridiculous, and resigned.
Actually, Germany is a pretty awful matchup. They have 2 different ways that they can play the matchup, both of which are pretty viable. They can use Dop Yulin, and they can use Skirm Warwagon. Skirm Warwagon you literally cannot kill, and Dop Yulin, you can somewhat...
Theoretically, you can kill it.
You can, but not cost effectively if they have gnats. It's not possible. Like, if both sides have gnats, you lose that horribly. If it's just Dop Yulin versus, like, Jan Abyss Huss, you can.
Yeah.
But you really have to micro for that to work because of how painful it is. And I realize now we're actually talking about autos and not Brits. Okay.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
Now, since I'm
by the way-
actually beginning to get somewhat aggressive on him, those rockets are dead.
The thing is, you will notice that one reason that Brett really can't push, I'm at 107 or so, is that there's so much more artillery on Kerk's side, which is actually about to change. But if you have more artillery and you can protect it, chances are you're probably doing pretty well.
And also, it really halts anyone being aggressive until they kill that artillery. Because if you've got calves out, I can't even think of bringing mortars, because my mortars will do nothing. Until I get rid of your calves, I really can't bring any mortars. Although here I'm trying to, just to get some level of aggression.
Brett, what
Because,
time are you at?
At about 109.
Alright, let me just fast forward a minute, so we're at the same place.
Alright. I mean, my unit composition is fine. The skirm, or the longbow goon with Huss for flanking and artillery is a fine composition, especially with these riflemen out here in the front just doing damage. But what I need to be doing is adding calves into this. I have 22 Huss and 43 longbows. I could go with 20 longbows and make some calves and be in a much better position, which is basically what Kerk is doing. And if he would micro his dragoons, I wouldn't kill them with longbows.
Guys, just a note. Anyone who might doubt Cherokee, they are a fantastic unit. They don't have high range resist. They don't have terribly high attack, but they have so much health. They have like, here, look at this guy. 506 health. That's like as much as a Grenadier. Probably more. And they're a skirmisher unit.
They have more HP than a musket. They have more HP than a musket. Which is
I'm pretty sure
insane.
Kerk used them in his starting army because they just changed the balance of things so well.
Yeah, if we both had Cherokee in our starting army, it would be different. If I had Cherokee and he didn't, it would alter that fight. But I don't do Cherokee in a Britmere simply because even though they alter the first fight, I'd rather have the upgrades for the long haul rather than the Cherokee, or at least the fast cav, so that I can put the pressure back on, both of which allow me to alter the reaction after the first fight.
But if you want to go versus like Germany's starting army,
God, yes, use it. You will obliterate them.
godsend.
Yeah, you can afford to not use the train speed cards against Germany because you have so much extra pop that you're just guaranteed to rape their first army anyway. And after the first fight, you can put out your upgrades. Or your train speed, yeah.
Oh, out of curiosity, why'd you say